Hello, everyone. My name is Mike, and I'm the author of the Believers superhero novel trilogy. We are here today to read our next chapter of book two. So let me share my screen and we'll get going. All right, here we are. Chapter 12, Friendly Reunion. News alert. An Italian restaurant in Miami has been utterly destroyed by a bus falling from the sky. 100 people were injured, 20 people were killed, and others are missing. Survivors claimed they heard a maniacal man laughing, calling himself Porter, and claiming that Jerry Miller is powerless. Is it true? Did our local superhero let us down? And where did this Porter come from? More on this new crisis coming up next. Alina turned off the TV and said, "Another superpower disaster happened again, Mom." "Oh, that's terrible. What a shame." "I can't just sit here and do nothing," Alina proclaimed. "Yes, you can. Why are you going to put yourself in danger for strangers? Look at what's happening out there. You gotta stay safe." "But they're not all strangers. Jerry Miller is engaged to Cynthia, and she's my best friend. I have powers. I have to help them." Her mother sighed and said, "You're not going to let this go, are you?" "Of course not. I have to do something." "Fine," her mother conceded. "But don't say I didn't warn you, and if something terrible happens, call me immediately. I won't judge you, but I will save you and say I told you so." "Ugh, thanks, Mom. I'll head out now. Bye." Alina, a young red-headed college student with freckles, had no clue what she was getting into. However, she was spirited and ready to take the plunge. She grabbed her purse with a smile and walked out of the house, determined to find Jerry Miller. She quickly used her cell phone to call Cynthia and asked her to hang out. Cynthia said that she was too busy working all day with Dr. Diaz. Cynthia was not lying, but she was hiding some information. Alina used her superpowers and found out exactly where Cynthia was, and Cynthia never suspected a thing. Meanwhile, Jerry and his friends were working out at Deep Lake Prison, the secret FBI training facility. They were all determined to strengthen their powers, knowing that new dangerous villains like Porter were popping up in the world. Megafist was sparring with Vaughn, throwing various punches and trying to develop a new fighting style. Vaughn, in return, was coaching Megafist, teaching him how to fake out opponents and perform counterattacks. Agent X decided to help Blake by giving him super heavy training gear. Blake put it on and could barely move. "How the heck am I supposed to train with this thing?" Blake complained. "That's the point," Agent X retorted. "If you can run around and charge people with this armor, you'll destroy them." "Are you saying this armor makes me hit harder?" "Absolutely. Not only will you hit harder, but you can take more hits while wearing it. You'll become a tank. Don't believe me? Laser point. Blast him." "Wait, what? He's gonna kill me." "You better run, Blake," Agent X yelled and laughed. Blake took a few slow steps, struggling to move with his heavy armor, and Laserpoint began aiming at his new target. Laserpoint was training as well, trying to develop new attack forms with his laser. After a few seconds, a wide laser beam hit Blake and sent him tumbling across the ground. Blake stood up and realized the laser didn't kill him. He looked at Laserpoint and said, "Do it again." Like a good soldier, Laserpoint followed orders and blasted an ongoing laser beam at Blake. Blake put his arms up for defense and blocked the attack. Then he began slowly pushing against the laser beam, but only for a few steps, and then tumbled backwards, unable to defend against it for long. Lying on the ground, Blake gave a thumbs up and hollered, "Thanks for the armor." Mr. Cream was watching intently, enjoying Blake's theatrics, and decided to reward him. Mr. Cream clapped his hands over his head, and a splash of chocolate and vanilla ice cream burst up into the air. He swung his arms in circles, swirling the two flavors together, and then sent it all crashing onto Blake like a wave. Blake was now buried under a bundle of ice cream. Slowly but surely, Blake ate his way out and gave Mr. Cream a thumbs up. Jerry had the most fun training partner of all, Leah. She was cute as ever, playing inside the training facility and laughing the whole time. Jerry was meditating in the middle of the room with a basket full of tennis balls. He was trying to locate and hit Leah with tennis balls, all with his eyes closed. Normally, this would be easy for Jerry, but Leah's power makes it very difficult. When Leah blinks her eyes, they change colors and allow her to phase through objects and people. As a side effect, her power distorts her energy, making it troublesome to follow her energy aura. Jerry tried his best, focusing his power and throwing 10 tennis balls, but only hitting her once. Leah was tired and needed a break, so she ran over to Mr. Cream and begged him for dessert. He happily whipped up 2 pumpkin pie ice cream cones and handed them to her. She thanked him and walked over to Jerry, who was feeling frustrated by his failure during training. She handed him an ice cream cone, and they both walked over to a nearby bench to talk and rest. Thank you for bringing me here. It's so much fun. No problem, Leah. I figured it was better than staying at the foster care home. That's for sure, Leah agreed. By the way, I started telling people about my cancer and got a lot of support. That's great news, Leah. Tell me what's going on with that. Well, obviously, I didn't find a cure, but I got invited onto a TV show. Whoa, that's awesome. Congratulations, Leah. Thanks, but I'm not going on alone. I told them I would only go on if you came with me. Can you please go on TV with me, Jerry? Absolutely. It sounds like a lot of fun. Of course I'll go with you. Thanks, Jerry. You're the best, Lee exclaimed. She hopped onto Jerry and gave him a big hug, accidentally making him drop his ice cream. Jerry pretended to be mad, jumped up and yelled, You better run! I'm gonna hit you with 100 tennis balls! Ah! Leah screamed as she excitedly ran around the training room. Jerry picked up the entire basket of tennis balls and launched them all at the same time. Leah tried phasing through all of them, but a few balls hit her, and Jerry shouted, Ha ha! Gotcha! That's not fair! You cheated! Leah called him out. Cynthia and Dr. Diaz were inside the safe room, working on computers and collecting data about all the believers while they trained. Cynthia was jealous of everyone's superpowers, wishing that hers were more interesting and useful. Sadly, her powers only work with Jerry and in a limited scope, while everyone else's powers have various capabilities. Regardless, Cynthia did her best to stay positive and help Dr. Diaz. He was extremely focused, working on multiple computers and programs to measure energy output and other valuable statistics of each believer. During their work, they discovered something extraordinary. Cindy, look at the data and tell me your first thoughts. Okay. The first thing I notice is that some believers are using more energy than others. Precisely. Vaughn and Laserpoint are pushing themselves around 75%. All other believers are only reaching about 50% or less energy output. Do you know what this means? Maybe they have to work harder, Cynthia guessed. You might think that, but if you look at their heart rates and their sweat accumulation, you can tell that they are all working quite hard. Then what do the energy output readings suggest, Doctor? These energy readings represent their potential. When believers have high energy levels, it means they're maximizing their superpowers and straining themselves. When their energy levels are low, it means they're not fully utilizing their superpowers. In other words, they all have potential to grow. None of them are fully maximizing their superpowers yet. That's great, but that also means they need better training. How can we help them? Cynthia asked. Cynthia and Dr. Diaz sat down together and began brainstorming. They analyzed the powers of each believer, and develop training regimens to help increase their effectiveness in battle. It sounded like a great plan, but Dr. Diaz realized a major flaw. These regimens are all physical workouts that involve practice to accomplish physical goals, but they do not help the believers mentally. Dr. Diaz then theorized that the believers do not fully understand their powers. For example, Jerry believes he is capable of teleportation, the idea of traveling at the speed of light, but that is incorrect. In truth, he is actually altering reality by making himself disappear and reappear wherever he wants. Otherwise, it would have taken Jerry years to travel around outer space, and he did it all in 8 hours. In conclusion, using a believer power is a mental and spiritual action that begins within the person. Therefore, the only way to truly help the believers is to train them mentally. But Cynthia and Dr. Diaz had no clue how to do that. They began feeling slightly hopeless until everyone heard a loud female voice outside the training facility. Hello? Can someone open the door? I know you're all in there. Let me in, please. Agent X looked at the security camera and asked, why is there a red-headed woman outside our top secret FBI training facility? Hello, I came here to help. My name is Alina. Cynthia knows me. Agent X peered sternly at Cynthia, expecting an explanation. Cynthia facepalmed and said, I can't believe she's here. I'm so sorry. She called me, and we talked for less than a minute. My cell phone location data was off. I don't know how she found me. I can't let her in. She is civilian and a liability, Agent X replied. I have superpowers. I'm psychic. I can help, Alina screamed. Jerry and the rest of the believers got excited and began asking questions. Agent X shook his head and said, I hope I don't regret this, as he pushed a button to open the door. Alina came running inside and yelled, Yes, I'm in. Cynthia ran to Alina, gave her a big hug, and asked, How did you find me? I'm psychic. I read your mind, duh. How long have you had powers? I got them after you started dating Jerry. Well, not really. It wasn't until after your summer vacation in Atlantis. And I know exactly why it happened. You absorbed way too much of his energy when you and him. Cynthia turned bright red and shouted, Okay, I believe you. Don't say anything else. I call BS, Vaughn chimed in. I'm the only one who can read minds here. If you can really do it, then prove it. You're on, Alina agreed and stomped her foot in the ground. She stared at Vaughn for 5 seconds and said, Your favorite drink is Mountain Dew. You only sleep once every 2 or 3 days, and your older brother is gay. Vaughn's jaw dropped, and he was totally shocked. He stayed silent and thought to himself, How'd she know? This girl is incredible. This girl is out of this world. This girl is. Alina smiled at Vaughn, letting him know that she was reading his thoughts even now. Okay, she's psychic and hot. She can stay, Vaughn conceded. Blake started dying with laughter and announced, This girl is a god. She can stay. Everybody else vote now. All in favor, say aye. Most believers raised their hands and shouted, Aye. Laserpoint disapproved and silently left the training facility. Megafist flexed his muscles and gave Alina a big thumbs up for approval. Mr. Cream approached Alina with a vanilla ice cream cone and welcomed her as a new believer. Leah charged up to Alina and began asking 1,000 questions. Alina answered a few of them and then began working one-on-one with every believer. She was very insightful, using her psychic powers to dig deep into each person's mind and help them better understand their own powers. She improved their mentality and creativity, empowering them with new and efficient ways to manifest their powers. By the end of the day, everyone was exhausted. However, they all appreciated Alina's help and thanked her. She explained that there was a lot more training to be done, but she would need time to recover, not to mention that she still wanted to finish college and enjoy her personal life. Everyone understood, and Agent X exchanged contact information with her, agreeing to future trainings and a possible job at the FBI. Vaughn felt a little jealous, seeing how much attention Lena was getting, so he complained to Blake and Jerry. I can read minds too. How come Agent X didn't ask me for an FBI job? Come on, bro. You can only read surface thoughts. Lena can find everything. She learned things about me that I wouldn't tell anyone, Blake retorted. So what? I'm immortal. I literally can't die. That has to be useful, right? Vaughn, you're already a great cop, and maybe you'll become the future police chief like your dad. You don't need an FBI job, but maybe Alina does, Jerry explained. Okay, fine, you're both right. But what about Laserpoint? Does he think he's better than us? Why'd he ditch training? Vaughn protested. He's complicated, Jerry answered. I hate the fact that he killed both Gabriel and Acid Man, but he also saved my life. Don't worry about all that. Just have fun and do the best you can, Blake responded. Anyway, I'm tired, and I got football tomorrow. Later, guys. All right, catch you later. Peace, Jerry replied. Jerry was about to leave too, but Vaughn stopped him and said, Look after Leah. She doesn't have much time. What? How do you know? Jerry asked with a distressed tone. I kept a close eye on her and read her mind a few times. She got tired easily and took multiple breaks. Probably only trained half the day. She also took a nap, had diarrhea, and vomited in the bathroom. She tries to smile a lot so people don't notice. Jerry didn't want to believe him, but he had to know the truth. He walked over to Cynthia and asked her to go home with Alina. She agreed, wanting to talk more with her best friend about recent events. Then Jerry approached Leah and took her hand, getting ready to teleport her back to her foster care home. Before leaving, Jerry concentrated and probed her internal body with his mind. He began to noticeably sweat as he saw what was happening inside her body. Her cancer was progressing rapidly. Vaughn was right. And that's it. We officially finished chapter 12. I hope you all enjoyed it and hope to see you all next time for the next video. Thank you so much.